This episode of Chamber Chat is generously sponsored by Right Business Technologies. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chamber Chat. This is our January 2022 episode. I'm your host, Shawna Harris, the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is a nonprofit 501c6 organization and is designated as a 5-star accredited chamber by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The mission of the Chamber is to promote and advocate for businesses in the Conroe Lake Conroe area. Chamber Chat is our monthly platform to share upcoming Chamber events, learn more about our members, and learn from our members as they share their expertise with our community. The Conroe Chamber is located near downtown Conroe at 505 West Davis, and you can find us online at conroe.org and, of course, all social media outlets. We have a great show for you today. We are going to hear from Jennifer Mathews with the Conroe EDC about job fair, and we are going to hear from the owners of Champagne Cat about their view to help children learn to love themselves and make good choices. Welcome back to Chamber Chat. We are here with our guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Jennifer Mathews, and I am the Associate Director for the Conroe EDC, which is the Economic Development Department for the City of Conroe.
Nice. And we are going to talk about something very important today, job fair.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming up in January. So this is the 10th annual job fair. It's a long record. How did job fair start, and how has it evolved in a decade?
Well, so about 10 years ago or so, I moved into a different role with the EDC, which had me out working with the companies a lot. And I realized that there was a disconnect between the companies that were hiring and the job seekers. And so I decided that maybe we needed to do a job fair. The chamber had done one previously at the Ark Church, but they were no longer doing that. And so Scott Harper was the chamber president at the time. And so I asked him, I said, if I decide to do a job fair and I'm responsible for the majority of the work, would you partner with me? And he agreed immediately. And then I met with some folks at Lone Star College Conroe Center to try and get them on board, and they were really excited about it too. And then we got Workforce Solutions involved, and we quickly put together a job fair. I had never even been to one. I wasn't really sure what the format was supposed to look like, but that first job fair was a great success. The only bad thing was we had an ice storm that day. It was unbelievable. I could not believe all that planning and hard work, and I was afraid no one was going to show, but we did end up with over 400 job seekers that day.
Wow.
Yeah, so since then, we probably at that time had, 30 some odd companies participate. Mm-hmm. Year before last, we had our largest event. We had about 64 companies and around 650 job seekers in attendance.
So that's year before last, 2019?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because last year it was virtual.
Well, we did one last year in person.
Oh,
Earlier
okay.
this year, we did a virtual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So 2019 so far is your biggest year.
That was our biggest one
Yeah.
so far.
We'll top it this year.
Oh, I think so, for sure.
I feel good about it. So.
Good, me too. So yeah, that's kind of how it came about.
So, and this year, are you expecting anything new? Is it kind of the same?
I think it's pretty much the same as what we've done in the past, other than I really think that we're going to have a lot more companies than we have in the past. So many companies are hiring. We actually just opened registration a week ago, and we already have 20 companies registered. I'm pretty sure that's a record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've talked to some business owners recently at other events that are like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to be hiring. We need a booth." So I think that you'll have good success. So how do employers get a booth? I know how they do, but you share with the audience how they do.
Okay, so it's really simple. They just go to conroe.org and go to the events calendar, and on January 25th is the link for you to click on. It has all the information about the job fair, and that's how you register. The booths are 8 by 10, and each booth comes with a table and 2 chairs. The cost for a booth is $200 for chamber members and $250 for non-chamber members. And then if you would like electricity hookup, it's an additional $25 fee.
Nice. Is there a cutoff time for booths for when they have to sign up?
We typically try to have the cutoff date about a week and a half prior to the event, just because we've got to get the program finished and that sort of thing. If we have room, sometimes we will squeeze people in, but they just won't be listed in the program.
Yeah. Okay. And who are your sponsors this year? Do you want to talk a little bit about them? Brag on them.
Sure. So this year our presenting sponsors are Crown Cork and Seal, and they are partnering with Resource MFG for that sponsorship. And then Cantel is our decoration sponsor, and ColorTech Direct is our awesome print sponsor. They've been printing all of our flyers and inserts, and they will actually do the program for us as well.
Nice. And let's see. Oh, so it's important to let everyone know that this is free for job seekers.
Oh, absolutely. It is
yeah.
free for job seekers, and we also have 4 free workshops scheduled ahead of time. So if you need to brush up your resume or maybe get some pointers on, things that you should and shouldn't say in your interview, these 4 workshops are going to be held at the Conroe Chamber. The address is 505 West Davis. The dates are January 5th and 13th from 9 to noon, and January 10th and 18th from 1:30 to 4:30. And those are actually presented by Workforce Solutions. They have 2 instructors that have a lot of years of experience, and they have great pointers, and they make it a lot of fun too. So, and that's free as well.
And that's for interview skills.
And to get your resume ready.
Okay, so they'll be
Yes.
doing that at the same time.
Yes, and one thing that's important to know is we also have a computer lab at the job fair. So if you happen to have your resume on a flash drive and you find that you don't have enough resumes with you, you can actually go in the computer lab and print additional copies. So, and we also have it set up so that if you make a great connection at one of the companies and they want you to go and apply, you can go and apply online right there at the computer lab.
That's
so it makes it
nice.
really convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that probably helps everyone, the employers and the job seekers.
Absolutely. And we actually have done on-site interviews as well. It's not unusual for people to get hired on the spot.
That I've heard of that before. Right now, with all the employers really trying to get the talent in the door immediately, they don't want to wait to make an offer.
Absolutely. They don't
So-
want the good ones to get away.
Yeah, for sure. So the interview prep, I think that's important because some people have been out of work for a while, so maybe they've not had an interview in a while.
Exactly.
But then there also might be people that have gone on a lot of interviews
Yes.
and not had any luck. So maybe they're saying something they shouldn't or not offering up information that they should.
Exactly.
So-
Well, and over time, resume formats kind of change a little bit. And, a lot of companies do all of their applications online. And a lot of times when they have a whole lot of resumes coming in, their program searches for keywords. So it's really important that you know which keywords to have listed in your resume. And the workshops will be a great place to learn all of that.
Yeah. And those keywords might change or likely will change depending on what type of role they're applying for.
Exactly.
Or with which company too.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
good. So you said 2019 was the biggest year and you had 63?
64, I
64?
think, employers.
Okay. And how many job seekers again?
We had about 650 that year.
Yeah, so probably about that many this year, we hope.
I would think so. I think that there's been so many virtual job fairs and not very many in person since the pandemic started that a lot of people are going to want to attend because it's so much easier, when you're applying to get in front of the hiring manager to make that good impression. It's a lot harder to make that good impression just from your resume or application. So I think that we will have great attendance. We definitely have a lot of companies interested this year. I foresee us possibly selling out the event this year. I would love to see that anyway.
Yeah. So what is your capacity if you were to sell out? Is it right at that 64, 65 count? Or
I don't know. That depends on how creative Terry is at the convention center with helping me squeeze booths in the ballroom. So
yeah.
I think we can probably get more than 64, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Might have to put some out in the lobby or something.
We may have to do
or
that.
Or even rooms.
And I'm open to doing whatever it takes to accommodate our companies.
Yeah, accommodate the companies and just provide more opportunities for the job seekers there.
Oh, yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Is there a trend already in the type of employers that are already signing up for booths? Is it healthcare? Is it service industry? Do you see anything like that or expect anything like that?
It's interesting. Every year is different from the types of companies to even the job seekers. We normally have a pretty good mix of manufacturing, healthcare, sales, accounting, medical, service industry. It's really a wide, variety of companies. And then when the job seekers come in, you may see someone in a suit that has a PhD, all the way down to the unskilled worker that's just looking to get their foot in the door somewhere. So, and everything in between.
Yeah.
So it really is varied every year.
That's a wide variety. So, let's see. I think we've covered most of it already. Is there anything else that we need to touch on?
Well, one thing that's a little bit different about our job fair than a lot of other ones is the job seekers actually have an opportunity to apply for a scholarship to Lone Star College. So that's something that we are very proud of. So each year, after all of our expenses are paid, any money that's left over, we use for scholarships. And the committee sits down and we go through all of the applications, and the amount of recipients is based on how much money we have left. And the scholarships range anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per recipient. And we've done some kind of creative things with the money too. One year there was a group of students at Hawk that they did not have the money to pay for their exams for one of their workforce classes. And so we were able to pay the fee for them. And then one year we bought 11 kits for the welding program at Lone Star Conroe Center and donated those for any students that didn't have the money to buy the equipment that they needed to take the course. So we try to do some really creative things to give back and help people get back into the workforce or the ones that are new and just trying to get their foot in somewhere.
Yeah. So how do they apply for that scholarship, or how do you hear about those opportunities if someone knows of something?
Well, the day of the event, we will have the applications there. And so after they sign in, they can pick up an application, and it's very basic. It won't take long at all to fill it out, and they just turn it back in to our committee members. And then that week is when we sit down and review everything and make the decisions. They're typically contacted by the end of the week to let them know if they are a recipient.
Yeah, that's a big job. That's probably tough. You
It
probably want to
is.
give a little bit to everybody.
We do. We get so many wonderful applications, and if we could, we would give everyone a little scholarship money to kind of help them along. But we get some really good ones, so yeah, it's definitely tough.
Yeah.
So,
are there any other sponsorship opportunities available, or is it just booth opportunities at this point?
at this point, it's really just booth opportunities. We've actually had a lot of people wanting to sponsor this year. I was really surprised. So we may have to come up with some other things that they can do to sponsor the event, for
Maybe
sure.
a scholarship sponsor.
That's kind of, what I was thinking.
Yeah. That would be great. That would be
yeah,
really helpful. So.
absolutely.
Well, I think I read that somewhere, but it slipped by me, and that's great information. I love that part. That's
Good, yeah.
So.
We're very proud of it. And it's always fun whenever we call the recipients to let them know, because they are so excited. We've had a couple of them get emotional and cry. They just were so surprised that they were the recipient of the scholarship. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Awesome.
It's a real feel good for sure.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other sponsors that you want to recognize? I think you listed most of them.
I don't think so. Well, actually, I would like to say that Lone Star Convention Center, they are our facility sponsor, and
Okay.
we could not do this event without them. They are fantastic. They have a really great team out there and make sure everything goes smoothly the day of the event. So, yeah, absolutely want to recognize them. And another thing, so if you're a job seeker and you're wondering which companies are going to be there and what job openings do they have, you can check out the Chamber's website. We will be listing all of the companies along with their job openings, and be sure and follow us on social media, Conroe EDC and the Conroe Chamber. And we this year for the first time have a Facebook page dedicated to the Conroe Job Fair. So there will be a lot of information and updates there as well.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Here.
I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it too, and I'm glad that I'm part of it this year as well in a small way. So.
Absolutely. Well, you've kind of been involved in a way in the past, but this year you'll be more front and center.
A little more hands-on. I'll have to stop by and check everything out.
So. Oh, definitely, definitely.
Well, thank you so much, and we will be right back with our next guest. Today's episode of Chamber Chat is generously sponsored by Right Business Technologies. If you'd like to introduce yourselves.
My name is Len Gardino, also known as ChampagneCat.com, the creator of ChampagneCat.com.
Kristin Guardino.
Guardino.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Champagne Cat and how it started? And what was the inspiration behind the concept?
Champagne Cat started a little while ago. I was thinking of creating a cat. Having been involved with fathers at large and children, I thought I'd like to create an image other than my own image to communicate with kids. So I created a cat. And I asked my daughter, what do we call this cat? I had different concepts. Family had an ice cream business years ago, 1900, and they had two patent products, Charlotte Rose, Roos, and Mellow Roll. So I thought maybe we'd call it Mellow Roll, Charlotte Rose or Roos. And my daughter said, what does the cat look like? I said, he's going to have a top hat and a bow tie. She said, that sounds like champagne popping. And I said, Champagne Cat.
Yeah.
And that's how Champagne Cat started.
And Megan being your daughter.
My daughter, and so I took.
How old was she? I'm sorry.
Oh,
how old
she
was
may
she
have been. She was in elementary school.
Okay.
And I took the image of the cat, by the way, to her school and had all the kids surrounding. It was a focus group. And I said, what do you think of this image? And they all smiled. And I said, you know what it's going to be called? Champagne Cat.
Do you remember that?
I do, yeah. Eyes lit up. And so we kept the name, Champagne Cat. Went from Champagne Cat, created Mama Cat, Charlotte Rose Cat, Computer Wise Megan Cat, Cinderella Cat. There are about 20 other images that I created. And they're all in our book, Champagne Cat book. It's on our website, ChampagneCat.com, and the comic book. And we created a number of products, T-shirts, using mainly Champagne Cat and Charlotte Rose. And our whole objective is, my objective in life, is to pass on messages to children as I would have wanted when I was a kid. And one of Champagne Cat's motto is, if it seems stupid, don't do it. And then another one is...
Sound advice.
Sound advice. It's great advice. And another one is, eyes full of love, not hate.
Again,
I want kids to understand that. You can have eyes full of love, stay away from hate. And the other one is, when I'm liked, I feel good. When I like myself, I feel better. And these are some of the mottos of Champagne Cat. Our main objective is to get kids to understand they control their destiny and don't do anything stupid, and try to have eyes that smile with love. And so that's the basis of Champagne Cat. And our objective also is to go into hospitals and give children hospitals a T-shirt and a doll. And when they squeeze a Champagne Cat doll, they're going to hear, love you, love you. And that's our objective. I used to put shows on in children's hospitals when I was working with a comic. And I saw the difference in someone, an adult, who had love for these children. They're lying in bed with tubes in their arms. And you just bring a little smile to their face. And their healing immune systems are charged up. And I think that's Champagne Cat's objective, just to bring happiness into the lives of children. And as an ex-veteran, VFW, Veteran of Foreign Wars, we're doing the same thing with veterans who have been crippled in hospitals. We're giving them T-shirts as well. And that's our champagnecat.com objective.
Okay. Well, that's a big goal. That's a big task. So what has happened since you started? You've had a few projects. You have a book. So how has the message changed or evolved?
Right. We have a book called Pass On the Little Blue Ball, teaching children that Earth is their responsibility, and they have to pass on the little blue ball, clean and shiny as they would want it to be passed on to them. And the book is 26 pages. I give the kids 5 billion years of Earth, the origin of Earth, in 26 pages. And it works. They read the book and they, little blue ball, that's Earth, isn't it? I said, that's right. It's planet Earth, and that's our planet. And we're responsible for planet Earth. Don't do anything, don't damage it. Clean it, shine it up, and pass it on to the next generation. And so we have that. We have a...
and where is that available?
Right now it's in the local public libraries, and of course on champagnecat.com. You can order it either through, what is it, how does it work on when you can get it through the...
We have it in an ebook as well as in a softbound version, which is...
But they can check it out at the Montgomery County Library System?
They can get it for free
all the libraries it's registered with the Library of Commerce. So it's a book that's been accepted as a teaching book for kids to understand. We're all together on one little ball, the little blue ball. And so we're all together. We're not different. We're all traveling on the same ball.
How long ago did the book come out?
Well, we published this. The first edition was 2019. We did another edition where we had it reformatted a little bit so that we could get it into the libraries, and that came into the library just really a few months ago.
And they loved it. They loved it. And from what I understand, the kids are taking it out and reading it. And it is a funny book. I mean, it's not belaboring, Earth 5 billion years ago. And the kids are going to say, oh my God, I'm only 10 years old. I have to now go back 5 billion years. So, but it's condensed.
The goal of the
So-
book is to teach little children to keep the earth clean and as shiny as it was when they got it.
And how
Yeah.
placed into
Earth
their hands.
started.
And pass it on
The
to
Big
the next
Bang.
generation.
I
Yeah.
talk about the Big Bang and all the little balls. And there was one special little ball, the blue ball.
Yeah.
And it found a big, shiny ball,
Mm-hmm.
our sun, and circled around it and said, man, this feels good.
Yeah.
And all the food was delicious. And how little things began to come alive, so small that even the little things couldn't see them. Some were so big, dinosaurs, you could hear them moving, thump, thump, thump. And that's the story. And then we have Champagne Cat and Charlotte Cat cleaning Earth
In the story.
and saying, that's with a mop and a broom. I mean, this is physical. This is not just, I hope it's clean. You got to work at it,
Yeah.
kids. This is your planet.
So that's a pretty recent, in the history of Champagne Cat, that's a pretty recent development. What other things were done?
Well,
During your-
I've also created a game board
Okay.
where children are taught to eat healthy food. Food that has nutritional value. I'm not saying stay away from ice cream, candy, and apple pie, but limit it. And think about health, exercise, eating food that is going to benefit their bodies for the next, hopefully, that generation, 110 years.
And you said, I think, that was a board game, but do you have plans to do something else with it?
We would like to turn that into an app that children can play on their electronic devices of all kinds.
To learn how to
So-
make healthy eating
Right.
choices.
Right.
Okay.
So help parents teach their children.
Do you remember that game?
Yeah, I do remember the board game. I mean, it was such an iconic thing in my childhood. And I think Champagne Cat came from my father's happiness and sharing his happiness with me. And then, broadening that circle, bringing it to my classmates. And he's been so driven on his own to expand the message of happiness. And it's evolved with our times of, eyes of love, not hate. What a poignant message right now that, especially in the world, all the stuff happening and, eating healthy and caring for our planet. And the baseline of, if it seems stupid, don't do it, kind of looking back at some of the things that we might have taken as for granted of decision making, really kind of using these mottos to kind of help us move forward in a more positive way and share the happiness and pass on the little blue ball and pass on a smile to a stranger with smiling eyes, especially when your face is covered with a face mask. Smiling eyes can go such a long way in our times that we're living in right now, that I think it's really exciting to kind of see it all coming, to the flash and out there
Right.
in libraries. I mean, that's
I remember,
thrilling.
I remember a kid came up to me, a little girl, and she said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I make people smile." And she smiled. And I said, "Isn't that interesting?"
It's infectious.
I wonder if she got the point. She did, and she smiled. And that's what Champagne's, if you see the image, by the way, you can go champagnecat.com. If that face doesn't make you smile, I don't know what will make you smile. Eyes dilated, big smile, Champagne Cat and Charlotte Rose smiling. And that's the objective, to bring smiles to children and give them a sense that life could be a happy place to exist, but you have to participate. Don't just sit back. Make other people smile, and you will smile as well.
Definitely.
And that's champagnecat.com.
Why don't you explain the concept of the circle?
Well, that's a lot.
It's a little too much.
The
Maybe that's for
circle is,
another program.
yeah, happiness is being round came about. That
And
Point-
that's like the tagline that you
the
use.
Champagne Cat is round.
Happiness is being round.
Happiness is being round.
Okay.
And the basic idea of being round, you are in control of your entire parameter, circle, circumference. It's yours. Don't let anything else break into that circle, because then you're going to become vulnerable. Protect that circle. It's only created by you, the circle. And not your mother, your father, anyone else is part of that circle. They're part of your bigger circle. Their circle is part of the bigger circle, mom, pop, people around you. But your circle, if you create your own circle and keep it strong, you won't have a problem with someone losing or leaving your circle. Then you have your circle is open and you're vulnerable. As long as it's your circle, no piece of that circle, when it leaves, will create an emotional negative effect on your life, because that's your circle. You created it, and you'll live through eternity with your circle. Make sure you're the only one that creates your circumference. You depend on someone. If that someone is not there, you become miserable, uncomfortable with living. And people, unfortunately, kids, when something is taken away from them, they have nervous breakdowns. I've seen it. But if it's your circle, no one can take a piece of that circle away. So Champagne Cat, the whole idea, happiness is being round.
Keeping your circle happy.
Circle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, keeping your keeping your circle happy.
Yeah.
That's your job. You're the only one that can keep your circle happy. No one else can do it. If you're depending upon someone else to make your circle happy, you got a problem. But once you say, it's my circle, I can control it entirely.
And feed it with nourishing food.
That's right.
And other happy
You're
activities.
You're responsible for your circle. If you depend on someone else to help that circle become whole, you got a problem. It's your circle. You're responsible. And that's happiness is being round. Circle. Champagne Cat is round. Go to champagnecat.com. You'll see he's round. All the faces, the images that were created, they're all circles, round, to make the point. Happiness is being round. Round is meaning the essence of you.
And think about being a parent or a newlywed or someone getting ready to create a family. Mothers get overwhelmed all the time. You need to have your circle. You need to have what you need to make yourself healthy. And then if you're inviting a new child into your life, or a spouse or friends or anybody, you're letting them into your circle. You're making a new circle for them to be in. But your circle's got to be strong. Otherwise, you're going to be weak when it's broken. And it's just it's just sort of a way of thinking. It's not a perfection, but it is a way of
it's not being selfish,
your own
by the way.
well-being. Right.
You're not being selfish. Your circle will accommodate many more circles in the bigger circle if your circle is totally controlled by you. If you have a weak circle and other people are part of your circle, you will never, ever have the ability to create a larger circle where other circles can enter. And if you can create an image of the power of your circle, you will draw into the bigger circle people who also have that same power. Their circle belongs to them, only them. And they love other circles, but other circles are not able to enter into your circle. It's yours alone.
You've got to have some boundaries, basically, of yourself, So
That seems like a big concept. Important, though, that you're responsible for your own happiness, your own success. So putting it in that term of a circle probably helps kids internalize that.
Right.
And the main thing we're trying to do as we get older is pass on whatever we have learned to help other kids. And we read Plato, philosophy. They passed on information to us. The founding fathers passed on a dream to us. And every generation, as they progress into their own longevity, as Martin Luther King said, longevity is something to be desired. As you get older, you have a responsibility to younger people to try to pass on a little knowledge.
Yeah.
The great philosophers did it. Founding fathers passed on an American dream. They didn't participate in that dream. We participated in it. They were long gone when the dream finally took hold.
Yeah.
So that's our responsibility as parents, but to show parents that we're strong. We have total control of our circle.
Our circle.
Mother has her own circle, totally controlled. She's not dependent on anything other than you being in her bigger circle.
So on that note of leaving something to kids, what are the future plans? Like what's happening next? And also if people want to get involved or know what you're doing, how do they reach you? Okay. Obviously champagnecat.com.
Well, they can reach us at champagnecat.com, info@champagnecat.com or info@champagnecat.com.
Yeah.
And our future plans, we've got a coloring book we've developed. We're putting that. We've got a doll that we're working with manufacturers to create. We initially wanted to go into hospitals and provide all of these items for free for children, which COVID shut down completely. So we did shift, and we are doing things with the VA and providing those things. We always are giving our things away. So we're hoping that people will come and purchase some of our T-shirts.
Maybe
and things
you'll
to
still
help
be
us.
able to get back into those hospitals.
Oh,
too,
we
so.
absolutely intend to do everything we can.
And if I have a minute, I wrote a song called Everyone Loves America. And we're planning on animating it. Champagne Cat and Charlotte Rose in front of a group of my other cats, and talking about America, a dream that was passed on to you and me, kids. And it's our responsibility to honor and protect this land of liberty, this dream called America.
And that'll be available on your website when you have it ready?
It's going to
really
be
available
animated.
now, yeah.
All
The
right.
animation.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's going to be
absolutely.
animated,
Sure.
a book and animation, where we're going to have
Yeah.
kids. So at the end, we love America, saluting once again, as I did when I was a kid in school.
And we have a subscription service that we're planning on putting content up for children as well.
Okay. Well, it sounds like, obviously you have a passion for everything, and if people want more information, they should go to champagnecat.com. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing everything with us, and we will be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today's episode of Chamber Chat is generously sponsored by Right Business Technologies.
That's it for today's show. Thank you for staying with us and listening. We appreciate our guest for being on today. We'd like to thank our sponsor for today's episode, Right Business Technologies. If you would like to be a guest on Chamber Chat, you can reach us through our website at conroe.org, and we'll be happy to have you. See you next time.